In 1828, something happened that history decided to forget, permanently. A heavy shovel strikes wood deep underground. The cold London fog hides a crime against the soul. You think the doctors of the past were heroes of science. You were taught they were pioneers. But what you were told is only half the story. And the other half is disturbing. A body is dragged from its eternal rest. A gold coin changes hands in the dark. Welcome to the era of the resurrection men. History's pages were erased. Today, we bring them back. You are watching World Time Capsule. Imagine it. It's 1820. The streets of London are thick with coal smoke and gaslight. Medical science is ravenous. The great anatomy schools are growing. They want to map the human heart. They want to understand the brain. But there is a problem, a legal wall. At this time, the law only allows surgeons to dissect the bodies of executed murderers. It was the ultimate punishment. To be cut open was to be denied a peaceful afterlife. But there aren't enough murderers to satisfy science. The demand for material is skyrocketing, and where there's demand, a dark market always follows. The city begins to smell of fresh earth, not from planting, but from theft. Groups of men haunt the graveyards. They are called resurrection men. They are professionals. They don't dig up the whole grave. That takes too long. They dig a small hole at the head of the coffin. They slip a hook under the shroud. They pull. The body pops out like a cork. Within minutes, the grave is filled. Back to the grieving family, everything looks normal. But beneath the soil, the casket is empty. This was a massive industry. A single body could fetch 10 pounds. That was more than a laborer earned in 6 months. Fear gripped the public. Families began to watch over graves for weeks. They built mort safes, heavy iron cages to lock the dead in their place. But the hunters were getting smarter. What no history book tells you is that some hunters grew tired of waiting for death. In the slums of Edinburgh, 2 men realized something terrifying. Why wait for a grave to be filled when you can create the body yourself? Burke and Hare didn't rob a single grave. They murdered 16 people, and the most prestigious surgeons in the city paid for every single one of them. Let's go deeper into the anatomy theaters. These were not sterile rooms. They were blood-stained pits of curiosity. Dr. Robert Knox was a superstar of his time. Hundreds of students crowded his lectures. He needed fresh cadavers. He knew the bodies Burke and Hare brought him hadn't come from the earth. They were too fresh. They had no dirt under their finger fingers. But he never asked questions. Science was more important than morality. This wasn't just medicine. This was a dark synergy between elite academia and the violent underworld. Look at the rare sketches from that era. Look at the faces of the specimens. They were the poor, the forgotten, the immigrants. Their bodies were stolen because they had no one to protect them. This dark trade didn't stay in the 19th century. It shaped the world you live in today. Every time you go to a doctor, every time you take a life-saving surgery, you were benefiting from this stolen knowledge. The Anatomy Act of 1832 finally ended the body snatching. How? By making it legal for the state to take the bodies of anyone who died in the workhouse unclaimed. It stopped the grave robbing, but it started a new era of state-sponsored theft of the poor. So we must ask the question, was the progress worth the price? We have mapped the human body. We have defeated diseases that once killed millions. But we built that foundation on the broken graves of people who never consented. Their names are forgotten. Their voices were silenced. But their skeletons remain in our museums. Their stories remain in our textbooks. Can science ever be truly clean when it started in such a dark place? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We need to talk about this. If you want to see the truth that history tried to bury, subscribe to the Capsule. In our next episode, we go even deeper into the shadows. we will look at a killer who walked the same fog-filled streets, a man whose identity was protected by the same elite that bought the stolen bodies. Next time, the Surgeon of Whitechapel. You don't want to miss it. The fog never truly clears. It just waits.